Happy November Cellar Club 2021, guys, and happy beginning of the holiday season. And for me, the holiday season always reminds me of Transatlantique Kriek. This is the beer that I give to my neighbors, my family. I bring to all the kind of like holiday parties starting in the end of November and then all the way through New Year's Eve. So we wanted to give this to you guys to remind you that this is the most festive beer that we have ever made and will ever make, Transatlantique Kriek. So this year we wanted to give this to you in the November Cellar Club, just to kind of remind you of that. And just in case you don't know the story, kind of inspiration and the whole story behind Transatlantique Kriek, this started in about 2003. And at that time, we became friends with Frank Bone of Brewery Bone in the Lambic region of Belgium. So Lambic is obviously where all the lambics are created, and that's because there was back in the day it was completely lined with scarbosin or sour cherry orchards, and those orchards carried the microflora on the fruit trees. That became the spontaneous inoculation that makes Lambic or the Lambic region famous, and what makes lambics possible. So we became friends, and we started a collaboration with Frank Bone to create Transatlantique Kriek. The first one came out in 2003 or 2004. Don't quote me on that. One of those two. And at the time, our wood cellar was nothing. It was a couple barrels, maybe like 10, 15, 30, 40 at the time. And we didn't have enough sour beer to actually do a blend. So Frank Bone would send all tankers of Kriek. He would have one-year-old lambic. He would then put that on cherries, the Polish cherries or the sour cherries for about 3 months and re-ferment that. He would put it into a tanker truck. He'd send it, send it across the Atlantic or transatlantic to us, and then we would blend it with a lager. That turned into a little bit later, we blended it with a lager and a Belgian ale with 50% of this lambic and 50% of this blend. Before it was 50% lambic, 50% lager. And sooner or later, over the time, we started amassing all these foeders and started making more and more sour beer. What happened was we then started kind of inching up a little bit of our sour into the blend. So Felix at the time was the sour base, 20%, 25% Felix, and one day we realized that we could do a 50-50 blend of of the Kriek with our golden sour. And that was a lovely time. And then actually there came a time where we became friends with Gert Christiaens Oud Beersel, who is also in kind of the family of Frank Bone, in that Frank Bone gets all the cherries for all of the lambic makers. He contracts them for everybody in all of Belgium. And then he also is a person that re-ferments all of the lambic on cherries. He has that capability, and he also brews all the wort. So by taking this collaboration from Frank Bone to Gert, or from Bone to Oud Beersel, isn't really that far a stretch. And so it was just kind of a fun new chapter in that, the life of that. So we now get 50% Oud Kriek, and actually it's not Oud, it's one-year-old Kriek that gets sent to us from Belgium, transatlantic, and then we blend it with 50% of what we now call Gilda. So Felix turned to Gilda. It's just a little bit of a different base beer. Gilda the Golden and Gert's Kriek, and it becomes Transatlantique Kriek. If you've never had Transatlantique Kriek, let me tell you, you're missing out. It's absolutely my favorite beer that we make, and I'm not just saying that because I make 50% of it, but it to me is just magic. It is magic. The color, the foam, the aroma, and just the entire experience of it. If you see this glass from across the room, you're kidding me that you're not asking somebody, what is that? And I'll take whatever that is. So when you kind of give it a whiff, it just smells like Belgium. And that is because most of it comes, or half of it comes from Belgium. But what you're getting is that sour cherry, the cherry pit, what's called benzaldehyde or almond. You're getting that barrel character, so you're getting pineapples and apples and more cherries. And the concept of this beer is, it is for me everything that I ever want a beer to be. It's sweet, it's tart, it's effervescent. It is absolutely gorgeous to look at and an absolute experience from start to finish to drink. If you are drinking this beer, you cannot not be happy. It is the equivalent of looking at a rainbow by drinking this beer. So this season, remember that if you're giving gifts, this is the best gift to give, and that's why we're giving it to you. So cheers to that. And happy beginning of the holiday season. And if you want to pair this with beer, with food, if you want to pair this beer with food, my favorite things are kind of the gamier meats. I love duck, venison, of course, just a good ribeye steak. If you can do anything that's kind of a little bit out of the norm, that's kind of red, with a little bit more flavor than you would suspect. And then some kind of, this is the season, we're in root vegetable season, so really go for it. This is like sweet potatoes, roasted beets, roasted, that's a lot of red. Roasted beets, roasted turnips, anything like that, this beer loves. So other than that, my other favorite and super, if you just want to wow somebody like you're like the smartest person on earth, grab any Big Blue or any triple cream and put this with the Kriek with just a big lovely wheel of triple cream brie, and you will be amazed at what the two of them together can do. You take a little bite of the triple cream, it's very heavy, it's kind of like lying all over your palate. This lifts, like cleanses, and brings something that champagne can't do. It's that fruit. The champagne has the acidity, it has that buoyancy of like all of that effervescent CO2, but this has that amazing, very complex fruit character to it that makes it's why you put compote on your cheese. You're doing it with the beer. So really easy party trick. Kriek and triple cream. If you want to go even deeper into the rabbit hole, some kind of triple cream blue. That's to me my favorite thing in the world. My mouth is watering, not just because this beer is good, but because of all of those words I just said to you. So happy beginning your holiday season. I can't wait to see you guys. Happy gift giving. Don't forget to go see a neighbor or two and spread some love. Cheers.